Hey, this is Bob from Dogwatch Cigar Radio.
And this is Dale, and you're watching a video review on StogieReview.com.
Excellent.
That one sounded okay.
Hello folks, and welcome to another episode of the Stogie Review video review. If you're new to the StogieReview.com, my name is Walt White, and Jerry and I do weekly cigar reviews, videos as you can see. And this week's review is the Tampa Sweetheart number 50, as I had mentioned in last week's review. Now, quick correction. Last week I had mentioned that these were Arturo Fuente seconds, and fortunately we had someone that paid attention and caught that for me. These are not seconds, these are apprentice rolled. I was aware of that, just kind of slipped my mind. We've talked about these before. I've actually reviewed the Maduro at one point. No problem with the sulfate. Can't get it to come off. Incredible. I guess I should go into the blooper reel. I should really try to get these cigars out of the cellophane before. It's almost like it's glued together. It's, I've never had that much trouble before. But there we go. Always keep a pen handy. Now, as I mentioned, these are apprentice rolled, so basically these are rolled by cigar makers that have little to no experience and that are trying to get into the business. So you're bound to find imperfections, inconsistencies within the cigar. And right off of TampaSweetheart.com, where these cigars can be purchased from, it explains that these are a great smoke at an exceptional price. They're packaged in bundles of 20 or 25 cigars and are available in either natural or Maduro shades. Tampa Sweetheart cigars are apprentice rolled, and as a result, each bundle may contain some imperfections. These cigars are hand rolled by inexperienced cigar makers and blends of tobacco entirely different from the premium cigars. Tampa Sweetheart cigars are not seconds of Arturo Fuente, Montesino, or Flor de Ybor City cigars. Availability is strictly dependent upon training needs, thus different sizes and colors may not always be available. Now, while they say that these are made from entirely different blends of tobacco, I think that, well, before I tell you what I think, I'm sure that, as most of you are aware, that when tobacco runs out on specific blends, the blend doesn't go away. They just find another blend of tobacco to make the same flavor profile. And I think that this is a similar situation where they might be using less expensive tobacco to get a quality cigar that is very similar, if not a match to the premium Arturo Fuente line. So that's just my thoughts on it. I have smoked the Maduro before, and I thought it was very consistent with the Arturo Fuente Maduro. And just before we get lighting, right away you can see I've got a little bit of a peel going on the wrapper. It doesn't seem too bad. The cigar feels very, very firm. If anything, this is a little overpacked. Not really, because it draws decent. So it's very filled with tobacco. It's that's nice. The wrapper doesn't look bad. I mean, this certainly does not look like an apprentice rolled cigar. It looks good. I think this guy gets a passing grade. Should start making premiums, but we'll know for sure when we get a little further along and actually start smoking it. And speaking of which, I'm going to get started here. And I neglected to mention that these cigars, the number 50, come in bundles of 20 and are available for like $32.50 from TampaSweetheart.com. And so far so good, it's not bad. Getting a good volume of smoke. lighting was fairly easy. Had a little bit of tobacco falling as I was lighting, so it's probably a little bit of short tobacco in the end because they put the leaves in, and if they feel a soft spot, they're pulling the excess leaves off and putting them in where the soft spots are, and then they're recutting it. So even in a long filler tobacco cigar, you could be getting little pieces at either end, and which may be the case because I doubt that these are short filler, just because they're cigars are rolled by apprentice rollers. You don't want these guys learning to roll on short filler. I would assume that that's completely different from long filler, and they wouldn't be really prepared for long filler cigars. But that's just my assumption. It doesn't mean it's right. So anyway, I got the cigar lit. I've got a cup of Earl Grey tea going here, and I'm going to start smoking this bad boy down, and I'll be back for the first third, and we'll get things underway. Well, folks, welcome back, and you see by the cloud of smoke in front of my face is that I'm plugging right along with my Tampa Sweethearts number 50, and so far I'm really happy with it. The draw has been a little firm, but really good overall. I mean, it's just firm enough to keep you from over puffing. There's a little bit of resistance there. It just keeps things at a slow pace. You don't get the urge to really puff on the cigar because each draw is giving you lots of smoke. And, you puff on it, your mouth fills with smoke. And then that's it. You don't need to constantly puff on it, puff on it, puff on it, heating the cigar up. The draw kind of just slows you down quite a little bit, and overall, I mean, it's just it's burning really well. I mean, when I read the Tampa Sweethearts homepage, I saw in there that they flat out tell you, well, this is apprentice rolled, and there's going to be inconsistencies, and there's going to be flaws in the cigar, and I was a little worried, but the cigar is smoking beautifully. The burn line is nice and straight. It's a little thick, but overall, I mean, there's really nothing to complain about as far as the construction and the way the cigar is actually burning. The finish is slightly dry, but it's very smooth. It's easy on the palate. It's going very well with my tea. The body's about mild to medium, with a little more emphasis on medium. It's a very nice morning cigar. I haven't had breakfast yet. It's about 9:30, and the cigar is just not too much for me. It's going very well with the tea, as I just said. The base flavor it just comes off as a straightforward, rich tobacco flavor, and there's like a nutty flavor in there as well, but it's just pretty much a straightforward tobacco flavor, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I don't feel the need for lots of other flavors just yet. It's good just as it is. And the ash has got like a salt and pepper look to it. It's kind of light and dark throughout. It's relatively firm. I mean, I can wave it around and it doesn't drop, but a light tap in the ashtray will knock the ash right off. So it's not something that I'm afraid is going to fall in my lap, unless I don't keep on top of it and I end up with a big giant long ash. But it's like I said, it's burning very, very well. The resting smoke is about average. There's a mild aroma in the room, and the smoke that you're expelling out of your mouth is very thick and really coats the inside of your mouth. It's again, it sounds like a broken record, but it's a very good cigar, especially for being apprentice rolled. It's nice to know that I can get a low quality cigar. I shouldn't say low quality cigar. A low cost cigar, get good quality, and and be happy with it. But anyway, I'm going to relax a little bit more, finish up my cup of Earl Grey tea, listen to some more of the Doors, and I'll be back to touch base with you in the second third. Well, welcome back, folks. I'm plugging right along, and believe it or not, I actually got so involved with the cigar that I actually forgot to record the second, third part of it. So let's do a brief second, third, and then we'll get into the final third and wrap it up. So unfortunately, this is going to be a really short video, but anyway, the second third is very much like the first. It burns very well. I mean, it continues to burn straight and even. The burn line's a little wide, but there's nothing really to cause any problems. The ash is still kind of a salt and pepper looking color, a mixture of black and white, obviously. It doesn't fall from waving of the hands or just big hand movements in general. A slight tap on the ash will knock it right off. So I'm not exactly sure what that means. I was knocking it off at about 3/4 of an inch, and I wasn't having any problem moving it around. So I don't think this is a type of cigar that's going to drop in your lap if you're the type of person that makes big hand movements when you're talking. So that's a plus. Yeah, the resting smoke's light. It still has a mild room aroma. The smoke is still very thick. The draw is a little firm, but it's getting better. And the base flavor is pretty much the same. It's just a straightforward, no frills, natural tobacco flavor with some nutty flavors as like an undertone. And it smokes very well. It's a very decent cigar. The smoke is very thick, coats your mouth. It's easy to blow smoke rings, all that good stuff. It's just a very good cigar, especially when you consider the price and the fact that it's rolled by apprentice rollers. Because I really would expect it to be less of a cigar because of that, and it's just because of inexperience. It would be very difficult for a person with little to no experience to roll a quality cigar, and this one came out really nice. And that was the second third. So let's get right on into the final third. But before I do, I had mentioned earlier I was drinking Earl Grey tea. I've since switched to bottled water, but I always seem to get questions about the tea that I'm drinking. Today I decided not to go with the loose leaf tea. I just wanted a quick, easy cup of tea to go with my cigar. I ended up drinking a couple, but it's Earl Grey tea, and it's made by Bigelow Tea Company. It's available at any grocery store. Between $3 and $4 a box. I think it's about 20 tea bags per box. They're individually wrapped, which is one of the reasons why it's a little more expensive. I'm sure there's some of you out there that think, well, I can get the industrial box of Tetley for $9.95. But yes, this is a little more expensive, but I think it's much better than the other tea, especially the individually wrapped bags, because it usually takes me a little while to go through a box of this stuff. So I spend the $4 on a box of Earl Grey tea, and it might last me anywhere between 3 and 4 weeks. If I'm feeling a little under the weather or something, I might go through a box in a week. But typically, 3 weeks to a month before I finish the box, and I need to get a new one. So the $4 is really is not that bad. And what makes this Earl Grey tea is the bergamot oil that's in it. It has a distinctive aroma and taste. It's much different than your standard, grocery store tea bag. It's definitely going to taste different, and it may be a little bit of an acquired taste. You may not like it. You may love it. For me, I just thought it was so much better than the regular tea bags I was using. So I completely switched to this, and I've been drinking this and the loose leaf tea. But still learning. It's been a slow process. I've been so involved that I really haven't been able to focus a lot on learning about this tea. It's a little unfortunate, but it's just the way it goes. Housework always seems to come first, and cigars second. So that's just the way it goes. So as far as the priority list is on work I have to do. So. When I mentioned I mentioned the individually wrapped tea bags. When it takes me 4 weeks to go through a box, the individually wrapped bags make a huge difference. I mean, the tea tastes consistent from the time I buy it until I drink the last tea bag. So that's something that I never really could have with the Lipton stuff, where it's just boxed. Because the first couple cups of tea were good, but after it sat a month, it just wasn't the same. So these little baggies do a real good job of locking in the flavor. And again, that's probably where most of your money's going to. So that's that on the tea. And the other reason I did that is I tend to get a lot of comments after I mentioned drinking tea, from new viewers or someone that just missed what I had mentioned about it in a previous video. So that's that. And let's move right along and get into the final third. And it's in the final third, it picks up like a bit of a nicotine punch. And it's all of a sudden too. As soon as I hit like the final third, where the band would be, it just got harsh. It's not really bad, but it's getting there. It seems to be building and getting worse. And I don't think that has anything to do with the roller, or unless maybe the back end of the cigar is not blended correctly. But I think it just has to do with lack of aging. I really think it's the nicotine in the cigar. It's got this pungent kind of kick to it, and it's getting worse, as I mentioned. But so far, it's not really that bad, but it is very distinguishable. The volume of smoke is still very good. I mean, it's very thick, easy to play with, coats your mouth. You'll feel it come through your sinuses. It's just smoking very, very well. The draw is still a little stiff, but again, it's providing lots of smoke. The smoke is very light colored and kind of airy, but dense at the same time. It's tough to explain. But it's dense in the fact that it comes through your sinuses very easily. But it's kind of airy because it just wafts around the room. It's not like a big, thick cloud that's just kind of circling the room or anything. The body's still picking up. It's medium at best, not quite mild to medium anymore. Good medium-bodied cigar. The finish is a little dry, but it's decent. It doesn't linger on the palate very long. A couple of minutes, it's gone, and that's that. You're all ready for another puff. So. As far as whether I would recommend it or not, it's tough because this is the only number 50 natural that I've had. Unfortunately, I don't like to do these videos on one cigars. Jerry and I have mentioned both before. It's just something that we don't like to do. But it was a cigar I was very interested in trying, and I know that people have asked us about it before. So I thought, well, we'll smoke the one I have and see how it goes. But I do plan on ordering a bundle at some point, because I'd like to see how consistent they are. I mean, if they're just like this, to be able to smoke 3/4 of the cigar before it gets, too pungent or too unenjoyable, then I think it'd be worth the $32. It's, it's a decent cigar. I don't know, the Arturo Fuentes, the Gran Reserva, the what they consider premium Fuente line, or not premium Fuente line, but premium in terms of made by first class rollers. I think they're good much further through the cigar, but it's I don't know that it's enough to warrant the 2.5 times the price. So I think I'm gonna be switching to the Tampa Sweethearts, especially if I can get them. If the bundle comes in and they're a little consistent, and it's pretty straightforward throughout the bundle without much variation, I think that I'm going to switch over completely to these and just stop buying the Fuente Gran Reservas. I don't buy them very often, but for much less, I'm very happy with the cigar. I think it's worth the $32 a bundle. It's a good price for a decent cigar. So let's leave it at that. Would recommend it, especially if you're on a budget. It's like myself, it's a good budget cigar. So with that said, that about does it for the Tampa Sweethearts number 50 natural. And as far as next week, Cigar Jack, the Jesse who runs the Cigar Jack blog, was very kind and sent Jerry and I some Arganese cigars to sample. So next week I'm going to smoke one of the Arganese cigars that he sent us. I still have to split them up and send Jerry his half, but definitely going to be smoking an Arganese next week, and thanks to Jesse. So really appreciate it, Jesse. So with that said, I'm going to let you get on your way, get back to whatever it is you were doing. If you happen to be catching this video before you're heading out for your Labor Day barbecue or picnic or whatever it is you're doing, have a happy and safe holiday. And until next week, happy smoking.